Well, the US panel has added a second vaccine option to the fight against COVID-19. FDA advisors have endorsed the emergency use of Moderna's coronavirus shot, paving the way for its authorisation. Trial analysis has found the drug is more than 94% effective at preventing the virus. It's welcome news as the US surpasses 17 million cases since the start of the pandemic. For more on the situation in the US, joining us live is the CEO of the Perth USASIA Centre, Gordon Flake. Gordon, appreciate your time. It is desperate, isn't it, to get this vaccine rolled out across the United States? The situation there extremely grim.
It certainly is. And again, we first should pause to recognize how miraculous it is and how much effort went into getting these produced and developed in such a short period of time. Now comes the hard part, is distributing it and producing sufficient doses, not just for the United States, but for the world. And unfortunately, doing so in a political environment where there's a lot of people who are going to be distrustful of this particular vaccine or both vaccines or vaccines in general. So again, as pleased as we should be with the development of vaccines, there's an awful lot of work that remains to be done.
And when it comes to the coronavirus relief package that politicians are working on, well, negotiations still seem to be dragging on and could go into the weekend. What's the hold-up?
The specifics around how much is going to be paid out as a boost check given to Americans. If you may recall, back in the spring or the early part of the year, I think it was in April, the United States sent out $1,200 checks to every American taxpayer as a stimulus checks. Democrats have been pushing for a much higher number, 2,000, 1,500. It looks like the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, is looking for a much smaller number on $600. So there's a big gap in that. But with rising, numbers of not just unemployed, but people slipping into poverty in the United States, and in best case scenario, going back to the topic we're talking about before, months and months and months before the vaccine will be rolled out in sufficient numbers to actually have an impact on the economy. There's a lot of people in the United States that are in dire need economically, and their hope is that they'll get this package out the door. There's also politics involved, right? There's a by-election taking place in the state of Georgia, and I think the initial inclination of the Republicans was to sit on this and not pass stimulus package at all, but they're being penalized for that in Georgia, and so I think that there's two tensions taking place here in the process.
You mentioned Mitch McConnell. He dared this week to acknowledge the Biden victory, prompting wrath from Donald Trump. What did you make of the reaction from the president, and what does it mean for the way that Republicans will now navigate the path ahead without Donald Trump at the helm?
Well, you use the word dare. I don't know that that's exactly a profile in courage. Remember, on the 8th of December, every one of the 50 United States had certified their votes in the process. Just as last week, this week rather, every state in the United States cast their ballots in the Electoral College. And so the process is, by all intents and purposes, done. The president has lost 59 of 60 lawsuits. There's no significant ones outstanding. It's been knocked back twice now by the Supreme Court. And so Mitch McConnell recognizing the president, again, is a good thing, is a positive thing, is something that many in the Trump administration have not done and many other elected Republicans have not done. Not exactly a profile in courage, but it is something that is important in terms of the next steps of the process.
Gordon Flake, always appreciate your analysis. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.